Now you guys can see me work. I'm not doing a whole lot. I'm working, as always. Never stop working. So I figure, what the heck, I might as well go live on a channel. You know, why not? So we'll see who decides to come and hang out with me while I do my work, my real life stuff. My real life stuff. It's great. Good stuff. Oh, did I remember to add that? Bum, 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 bum. And or. Oh, I got it covered. And or. There we go. Hey guys. We're not doing we're doing real life stuff. Yep, doing real life stuff. You guys get to see behind the scenes. I'm doing like real life work, not like research work. I put Sebastian Rogers on the thumbnail because he deserves to be advocated for. I mean, I do stop and read, and I've got, you know, text messages and emails and everything like that, and I was getting to the point where I was ready to hit my head against a hard surface, and then I decided to come here. Tiffany Bly. Are you related? I gotta ask. There's not too many Blys that I ever known about. Are you anyway, you know, with the Blys and the Wells, and just out of pure curiosity. Just out of pure curiosity. It's nice to see you, Jackie, Danielle, Sam, Maggie, Tiffany. It's nice to see you. Storms are crazy here in PA. She says, hell no. Oh, thank you, Della. Reminding everybody, happy Memorial Day. Do not forget what the day is all about. I wish I had time to create a beautiful memorial video, but I don't, not this year. So what we do, definitely, you know, I come from a military family, and luckily, you know, I don't know if any of my family has passed away in other wars, especially with my father's side of the family, because we really, you know, he was in foster care. We really, like, the family scattered, so we don't know. And long story short, the ones that we do have all survived. So we've been very fortunate in our family, but I've had the honor of meeting a Gold Star family. A true Gold Star family. Well, all of them are true Gold Star family, but what I mean is, you know, they had their son was in the military, and their son lost his life in active military. So it's really hard. They honor their son every year. You know, they're one of our political families here in the community that we just wrap our arms around and just love on. So one day I'll tell you about the story. You know, maybe we'll do a story about the family. Teresa, it's nice to see you. Robin, Hindsight, it's nice to see you as well. Black Skies, if I didn't say hello to you, I don't think I did. So we're not doing anything. We're just kind of chilling here. I just needed a break from real life stuff, and I figured we'd do this, and then I'll do real life stuff and just keep the stuff rolling and stuff. I had a zit. Well, it really wasn't a zit. It was like a blackhead, and it came up like yesterday because I never put lipstick on, but my lips have been so dry that I've been using Blistex, and it's gunking up my pores around my lips. So I got to make sure that I do like a lip scrub, and I got to make sure. So I had a little. The only reason I'm bringing that up is because when this morning when I was talking about. And mine's a zit, okay? Actually, it's not even a zit. It was a blackhead, or some kind of head. I don't know if it was blackhead or what. No, it was definitely a blackhead. It was like I don't know. It's too hot. I don't know. I went out there to take the garbage out. Well, I didn't take the garbage out. You know what though? I think it's kind of interesting, but I've noticed this for a while now. Like I don't really throw a whole lot of garbage away anymore. A lot of my stuff goes into the recycling container, you know, like even my milk jugs and everything. I clean them out. I clean them out. You know, shake them with water. I don't want them having to touch all the icky stuff. If I can't get something clean, it doesn't go into the recycling. It goes into the garbage. But I throw like even my soup cans and everything. I rinse those things off and throw them in the recycling container. Like I really, I mean, if you go look at because I have a big, huge garbage container, and you know, when we had the house hustling and bustling, I would use that. I'd fill it up twice a week, but it's just me here. And so now I don't use garbage bags in my my 13-gallon garbage container. I take my grocery bags but with it just being me here, I get like maybe a quarter bag before it starts stinking. I can't stand to smell it, I can't stand the smell of rotting food. So I find that just getting those little grocery bags, those are perfect for a little day or two, just your little like tissue and paper towels and like my coffee filters and grains and stuff like that. In a day or two, I walk this little bag out to the garbage can, throw it in, and so now I have like 3 or 4 bags of garbage, like literally at the very, very bottom. You can still see the bottom of my regular garbage can. My recycling container, on the other hand, is completely full, like popping over the top full. So that's good. I mean, I mean, if that's for me, at least that stuff is staying out of the landfill. I mean, I'm like, the majority of all my stuff went to the landfill. Now it is absolutely 100% just the opposite. Just the opposite. So some people have been, sending me some emails here, and I always try to read a few of them. And so before I go, well, actually, I'm not going to go. I'm just going to be working here. But before I stop talking to you guys and start going back to work, I wanted to read some things. One was saying, this is an interesting one, and this is, from last night. This is related to a video last night that one of our folks were watching, and they said, you hit on Sebastian not being a runner, yet Katie says that, says later that when he's upset, he goes to his old school, which is a weird statement, and I missed that one. We did hear the one from the body cam footage of the neighbor saying, you might want to check under cars because the neighbor said they found him under their car once before. And now we're hearing this, that he may have went to his old school. He goes to his old school when he's upset. So are they meaning running away in the middle of the night? Or are they meaning running away totally? Because it seems to me that oh, sorry, I'm trying to move my legs. He's had some absences. You know what I'm saying? He's had some absences from home if he's been upset and ran to a school. I mean, I think all of us have been upset at one time or another and left and went somewhere, right? We went, whether it be to our friend's house, whether we went to our favorite tree house, right? Some of us had tree houses, and we'd get mad at mommy and daddy and run out the door and up into the tree house. So was it something like that? But we have a lot of weird and mixed up information when it comes to that. And here's one. The reason I have a theory about the lights is because of my experience. I called Sheriff Howitt's home number from my phone book. I don't know if this is this is probably for me personally. Let me just keep passing that. And I think that's about it that I have coming in that I can read right now. There are ones that I've already read, so I don't mind reading those. Here's one. I just recently joined your YouTube channel, and I have been following the case since he went missing and even came to Hendersonville, Tennessee from North Carolina to help search for Sebastian. I go to sleep thinking about the case and wake up to this case. I have really been doing my research on all of this. I met Seth and his parents when I came out. I handed out flyers and searched in so many areas with my daughter. I have also been in contact with the Proudfoots. Anymore, the way this case has become, I don't know who you can trust and who you can't. I would like to talk to you one of these to see. Okay, I'm happy to do that. I have been going through these transcripts of the interviews. I've been going through the interviews too. I've got the list here. Right now, I'm going through the interview with, her name's Duchess, and I believe this is one of the very first interviews, about 20 minutes into it right now. But this appears to be like one of the very first interviews they did. And see, when we were watching Chris McDonough and Steve Johnson, one of the things that they said to me, I'm gonna move this up just a little bit, just bear with me, guys. There we go. One of the things that they said last night that I didn't think about, and should have, absolutely should have. And one of the reasons why I liked the green shirt interview is because I felt like it was the one that was the most uncontaminated public interview, because I was unaware of Duchess. And now I'm going back, and it appears Duchess may actually have the very first interview. So I'm actually listening to that right now. And there's some things that they said in this first little bit. Where was it? Hold on here. I want you guys to hear this. And it's just in the first little bit. And they start talking about Sebastian and their story, you know, because we didn't know they were upset. And I see why Trev, I guess for YouTube, Trev was the pushing force of, you know, getting this case out there, because people were saying, oh, Trev brought this case, and I'm like, wait a minute, I didn't even know Trev was, when I got into it, started talking about this case, it had nothing to do with, I didn't even realize Trev was covering the case. I was actually surprised that Trev was covering the case. I think when I noticed it, it was about the time that I started learning about the United Cajun Navy. And so that's when I learned, because I learned, give me just a second. Actually, I'm scared if I move out of here, I might drop you guys, so I'll have to call him back. But what was I saying? Oh, yeah. So I didn't see Trev until the United Cajun Navy, and I'm like, oh, Trev time's in, you know, there. And then I thought, oh, of course, it's, you know, Tennessee. But I had actually heard about this case from a TikToker, and she had like 92,000 followers, and she was really raising Cain on TikTok, and some of that had gone into a news article, and it was the actual news article that I was reading about this case that I stumbled across that brought me to her. And I actually went to her channel and learned about this case before I even realized Trev Time was even involved in this case. So now going back to this interview to Duchess and seeing Trev Time on this very first interview, now I understand why, you know, while I still disagree with the behavior thereafter and everything that went on, you know, it's not for me. I understand that he has been a strong supporter of this case, and I do understand that. But this is avocation, you know, sometimes you give of yourself, and that's that, you know. It's sometimes a very thankless job and a very trying and hard job, you know, but it's done from a labor of love. And so, you know, I had to learn it myself, and it's just something that only time and going through this again will give you grace, right? So you know, this is probably his first little hiccup in the road. You know, I remember the first time Olivia, when somebody didn't like Olivia, how heartbreaking that was for her, you know. So I've got to put that into play. But hey, listen to this.
The live stream.
Can you guys hear that?
Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you joining us.
This is like one of the first ones.
You're welcome.
We had a really good conversation today, and I appreciate you being willing to talk to me about Sebastian going missing. So I guess I will just kind of start out with, tell me what happened the day that Sebastian went missing. I know that his mom said that he was having a good day.
This is going to be interesting, because this is one of the first times that we heard what they did that day. Remember, I didn't realize this. I've already heard this portion. I've already heard this portion up for about, 10 or so minutes. But I thought it was interesting, because I think everybody should be listening to this. I think everybody needs to hear what they're first, because again, what did Steve Johnson tell us yesterday? You want to go to the newest interview because it's the one that hasn't been contaminated, right? And so that's where we are. I'm trying to look for that uncontaminated one that's even least contaminated than the green shirt interview. And I believe this might be it. And this might be interesting. So let's listen. And
had a great weekend. So do you want to walk us through what that...
One thing I've noticed in this one is, and I'll turn this around here for you guys to see. They don't show their face. I have a problem with this being their very first interview and them not showing their face. They were unwilling to show their face on here, so we cannot get a good understanding of what they're looking like. And why is this important? Because you're going to hear a very, or a seemingly, allegedly upset Katie. Well, when I see somebody upset and I see tears streaming down their face, I know that they're really upset and they have tears streaming down their face. People can be how, let's just give you an example. Oh my God, I can't believe this is going to happen. I just don't know why it happened like this. I just don't know. I'm just really, 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 really upset about everything. And I just can't understand why this is happening. Right? It's different when you can't see somebody's face and when you can see somebody's face. Okay? It's different. So I don't like this being their first interview, but we'll work with it. We'll work with it. So the reason why you guys are seeing my face while you're listening to it is because what are you going to look at it? Some emojis? I mean, I think, my hair is not really all that pretty and I don't really have a whole lot of makeup on and stuff like that, but I'm here. I'm moving. My lips, at least you see my lips moving. All you'll see there is a big old K. Like take a hike. What starts with a K? Kiss my ass? You'll see a K that says kiss my butt. Kiss my butt. So let's listen.
That looks like, again, for everybody.
He did have a really good weekend, actually.
Let's listen.
When we come home from having supper that evening, he was playing. When he went to bed, when I told him to go.
She glosses over everything. Even at this very first interview, remember that was one of the things Steve said, is that they had this eventful, day, but she doesn't even talk about it. She glosses right over it. But we do have a little more information than we had before. Now we at least know when they came back from the roadhouse, at least she's alleging he played, because we're like, well, what did he do from 6:40 to 9 when he went to bed, allegedly? We have nothing there. It's like a blank space. At least now we know he was playing with something. I don't know what. And I'm not reading your comments because I'm watching this. Let me just go up here and see what you guys got to say. Hey, Linda. Not sure whatever happened in the house. The police combed the house like 10 times, but they didn't take forensics in there. That woman's entirely too clean. They need forensics. Trust me. They need forensics. You're in like Flynn now, baby girl. What does that mean? I don't know what that means. I watch on my own television, never really bothered to chat until I found all of you. Aww, EMF, oh, that's sweet. Yeah, we like to chat and chat. We like to chat and chat. I wouldn't care how I looked when I asked people. Exactly. And why wouldn't you want people to see your pain and agony over your missing child? And still, even with this interview, let me see what date this interview was. It was March 3rd. So how many days was that? He disappeared on the 26th, so 27th, 28th, 29th. Did we have 29 days? So in 6 days, it still took them 5 or 6 days to come to the media for any type of help. So let's just keep listening. I wanted to forewarn you because you're going to hear them upset and you're going to want me to turn this camera around so you can see there's nothing to look at. There's nothing to look at. So you're seeing as much entertainment you're going to get.
Go to bed. He said, I love you, Mama. And he said, I love you, puppies.
So this one, it's I love you, Mama, and I love you, puppies. I love you, Mama, and I love you, puppies. That kind of gives me like the EBGBs after, Steve's analysis on the word I love you. Thank you, Justice Jane, reminding us today is 91 days since this beautiful boy has not been seen. So, it is definitely a serious situation at this point, without a doubt.
A little later in the evening, I myself went to bed, and when I went to wake him up for school, he wasn't here.
When she went to wake him up for school, he wasn't there. You notice she glossed over everything. Like, and all these stories, she glossed over everything. She glossed over what they did the night before. She glossed over how much fun he had at the house. It was, we went to eat, he went to bed, I woke up, he was gone. That's the underlining tone, and everything is built upon that. Everything. I don't believe he said anything to Kate before bed. Probably not. Is where she starts wanting to cry. That's why I needed to see her face. You can't see her face.
And you did tell me that Sebastian is not a runner.
He's not.
It's okay. Take your time.
Sebastian does not have a history of running. I mean, the young man doesn't go outside very much. I mean, everybody in the neighborhood knows him. He is very to himself, so to speak.
Should we listen to that again? Doesn't go outside. The neighbors know who he is, but he doesn't go out. He doesn't do any, he stays inside their house. That's his comfort zone. His comfort zone is inside that home, not outside that home. Let's see if we can back it up 15 minutes.
Have a history of.
Is not a runner.
Okay, let's listen to it again.
He's not.
It's okay. Take your time.
Sebastian does not have a history of
Good call,
running.
TJ.
I mean, the young man doesn't go outside very much. I mean, everybody in the neighborhood knows him. He is very to himself, so to speak.
So if he doesn't go outside, he's very to himself. What would ever lead these parents to just know this boy got up in the middle of the night and walked out the door? What would ever lead them to come to that conclusion when they keep saying all of this about their son? Every time I turn around, they give us 18 million reasons why that child did not walk out, but they're telling us to our face that this child walked out. I can't figure it out.
Between the hours of 12 and 6, he has basically vanished.
Basically vanished.
Walked out of the house, the door was locked, and gone.
That was another thing I wanted you to hear. He walked out of the house, the door was locked. Well, if the door was locked, how did he walk out of the house? I'm playing on words because they matter.
12 and 6, he has basically vanished. Walked out of the house, the door was locked, and gone.
He didn't take a phone. None of his shoes are missing.
Now, you told me that night that, now, Chris, you were at work. You were out of town at work,
Yes,
so you were not even home.
Correct, ma'am.
And, Mom, you fell asleep on the couch about 10 o'clock, but you...
Oh, so in this story, she fell asleep on the couch until 10 o'clock. Wow. Her story hasn't changed none. It ain't changed none. I don't know what you guys are talking about. What do you mean Katie's story's changed? You guys are so full of it. You guys are so full of it. You guys told me her story changed. It stayed the same. We knew she fell asleep on the couch, didn't we? When did this happen? Oh, that's right. It's her first story. This is the first try at it. This is the first try at it. me that they're full of crap, right? They should be in the hospital with backup problems. Just saying. No pun intended.
The young man doesn't go outside very much. I mean, everybody in the neighborhood knows him.
I have
he
so
is
many things
very,
I could say. I'm going to keep my mouth shut.
To himself, so to speak. Between the hours of 12 and 6.
Let's listen to this. Listen to it closely.
He is basically vanished. Walked out of the house, the door was locked, and gone.
Okay, listen.
He didn't take a phone. None of his shoes are missing.
Now, you told me that night that, now, Chris, you were at work.
Let's
you
listen.
were out of town.
It's coming up.
At work,
Yes,
so you were not even home.
Correct, ma'am.
And Mom, you fell asleep on the couch
Fell asleep.
about 10 o'clock, but you said that Sebastian went to bed at 9 p.m. And then you got up off the couch and you went to bed, and you said that was...
Well, where's the thud? So, Katie, did you go to bed at midnight or 10 p.m. when you woke up from the couch, got off the couch, and walked your ass into your room? Why did you give yourself an additional 2 hours? Did you guys notice that? She grew 2 hours with her time. Here, she went to bed at 10. We've been told all this time she didn't go to bed until midnight. Interesting. So Mom is freaking yes, Veronica. Yeah, we're listening to the very first unobstructed interview. This is the one we need to be sending to Chris McDonough and Steve Johnson, because this is the one they need to be analyzing. Just saying. I just found it.
was around midnight. And nothing was unusual at that point.
Let's listen to what she says. Let's listen to it.
There's actually...
So I don't want to...
when I went to wake him up for school...
Hold on.
He wasn't here.
Did I go back too far?
Mom, you fell asleep on the couch about 10 o'clock, but you said that Sebastian went to bed at 9 p.m. And then you got up off the couch and you went to bed, and you said that was around midnight.
Midnight.
So she did,
and nothing was unusual at that point.
So she talks about falling asleep and waking up at 10. And then she was adamant when the lady made a correction. You said you went to bed after that. And she says, not until midnight. So what did she do from the time she woke up at 10 p.m. to midnight? Because clearly she wasn't on the phone with Chris for 3 hours from 9 to midnight, because she clearly fell asleep on the couch from 9 to 10, and she didn't wake up until 10. And did I hear her mother-in-law was with her? I'm curious. That would be interesting. Wait, she was on the phone with Chris for 3 hours and studying for class at the... Yes, little Shirley, I said that too. I can walk and chew gum. I just can't walk, chew gum, and tap the top of my head, okay? Let's keep listening. This is interesting. So she's adamant she went to bed at midnight. What did she do when she woke up from 10 to 12? Let's listen. Let's see.
Things seemed okay.
There's actually a piece of... So to make something very crystal clear, so that way there's transparency across the board. Me and the mom were on the phone at 9:43 or 9:46 in the evening.
9:43.
We stayed on the phone for quite some time.
9:43 to 9:46. He even has 3 minutes there. He even has a 3-minute there. This is so full of crap. They're so full of crap. You guys got threes coming out your wazoo there, Chris. Come on. Let's listen to this again. I can't believe what I'm hearing. I can't believe this.
See across the board. Me and the mom were on the phone.
Oh, no. Sorry. I got to hear him say the crystal clear. Sorry. Because we need to make it crystal clear for everybody in chat. Hold on. I have to rewind enough.
So to make something very crystal clear, so that way there's transparency across the board. Me and the mom were on the phone at 9:43 or 9:46 in the evening. We stayed on the phone for quite some time. The call logs have been verified by all the police departments, TBI included. We stayed on the phone. It was very lengthy. Mom did slightly start falling asleep while she was on the couch.
So he's made a point to let us know that they have already been approached by law enforcement about this very lengthy conversation that seemed to be odd. And they've provided them all the information, and that has been well documented. That was an interesting statement Chris made about these phone logs. This has got to be a problematic situation for law enforcement too. If they're asking him about it so much so that he's got to bring it up on here to make it crystal clear for everyone. Maybe that crystal clear is code for this is what we told law enforcement about this very specific topic they asked us about. I think that's what crystal clear really truly stands for. I don't know. I'm just Bullhorn Betty. Don't know what crystal clear. I don't know Crystal. I don't know Miss Clear, okay? I'm sorry. I only know Bullhorn Betty. I'm going to stop.
I had said, hey, you need to wake up, put the dogs up, go to bed. Now, mind you, that was right around midnight.
So they weren't on a 3-hour phone call conversation. According to him, they were on a 2-hour and 12-minute telephone conversation. 2 and 1 equal 3. I'm sorry. Everything seems to come back to threes with them. Deceptive detective is in my head. It's not funny. It's not funny. I feel like I'm becoming a conspiracy theorist. I'm finding those threes. They're just popping out everywhere. It's a little crazy.
Just before midnight or right around midnight. Mm-hmm. So then Mom does go to bed and wakes up early in the morning to go wake her son up and get him ready for school.
Wake her son up? Go and wake her son up? Wake her son up? Wake her son up, huh, Chris? Her son. Interesting choice of words there, buddy.
Right around midnight. Just before midnight or right around midnight.
Is that what he said?
So then Mom does go to bed and wakes up early in the morning to go wake her son up and get him ready for school.
Her son, yep.
And now we have a worried mom who can't find her son in the house.
A worried mom with her son missing.
Mom made an effort to look and search several times. Mom has called me at the time and asked me, she was like, I can't find him. I was like, do what? And she goes, yeah, I cannot find him. I said, well, hang on. I made the phone call and reported it to the sheriff's department because that's what we're supposed to do.
Well, that's what we're supposed to do. Kid's missing, so, Mom's just over here saying, I don't know where the kid's at. Well, let me just go ahead and call law enforcement. You just keep searching around the house, dear. I'll just get law enforcement on the phone, and we'll just get them on out there because that's what we're supposed to do. If you're wanting to know, Duchess is the channel that I am on. This is one of the very first interviews that I could find of Chris and Katie Proudfoot. And what set me on this journey was our beloved Steve Johnson from the interview room. He is somebody with the Cold Case Squad and Steve McDonough. And you guys know I have a lot of respect and love them. Whether I agree with them or not, I love their profession and I love their commentary. Steve told us that we needed to have one of the first interviews to have the uncontaminated version of the story, the closest story to what they may have told law enforcement. So guess what Bullhorn Betty did? Oh, well, great. I'm glad, my angel. I'm glad you think of me in such high regard. You're a very sweet person. I hope you have a wonderful day. And you can welcomely kiss my beloved ass. Have a great day and God bless. So now we're hearing some major differences from what we heard before, aren't we? Pretty interesting. Maybe that's what they're talking about, uncontaminated version. not virgin. Version. Get your head out of the clouds, guys. You're making me sick.
For school. And now we have a worried mom who can't find her son in the house.
Her horrible son.
Mom made an effort to look and search several times.
It sounds like he practiced this. This is like his thing, well, the mother searched and checked, the kid's not here, officer, we've done everything that we can possibly do. She searched for the kid, sir. She searched all around for her son, sir. What? A lot different than my son, huh? And our kid's missing and wah, right? Because we're hearing the real Chris. Hey, Chris, stand up, won't ya? Whose kid is it? Whose kid is it really? Whose kid is it really? Oh, that's right, it's Katie's. Katie's Artard, huh? Katie's Artard and Susie with a P. Gotcha. I got your Susie. Got your Susie. Better watch your P's and your Q's there, Chris. Just saying.
Mom has called me at the time and asked me, she was like, I can't find him. I was like, do what? And she goes, yeah, I cannot find him. So hang on. I made the phone call and reported it.
Why did Chris say, what did you do with your kid? What did you do with your son? Did he say that? Because I heard he didn't start calling him our son, until after he disappeared.
To the sheriff's department, because that's what we're supposed to do. And within 10 minutes, the sheriffs were dispatched to the location.
And you had told me that there hadn't been any particular situation that had occurred where you felt like there would have been something that happened. And I also had asked you if there were any friends that Sebastian might have possibly left the house with, or if he had any contact with anyone on social media. Do you want to comment about that again?
He doesn't have a social media.
Okay.
And the only friends that he had were a couple of kids in school.
Okay.
All the kids that have had any interaction with him have been interviewed and asked.
Okay.
We as parents know how social media can be.
Right.
And seeing how kids can be easily manipulated.
He's very young in mind.
Yes, he may be.
Right.
He's about 15, and he's 15 in age in his body, but his mind is not caught up to his body.
So, we have developmental problems, we have social problems, we have, he's on he's on the spectrum with autism. He's got a chromosome deletion syndrome. He's got tics such as, he doesn't like dirt, grass, bugs. He doesn't go outside. When he does go outside, he puts shoes and socks on because he had a horrible event with ants that has scarred his brain, that forced him to put his shoes and socks on so he doesn't get eaten by ants. Yet all of that in an autistic boy that is having developmental issues is going to throw caution to the wind and say he doesn't like his mommy and he can do it better, but fails to take anything, and I mean anything, with him. He didn't take his breastplate with him. He didn't take his toothbrush with him. He didn't take his cell phone with him. He didn't take the candy with him. He didn't take the snacks that they just purchased with him. He didn't take the beverages that he makes for the week with him. He took no shoes with him, no jacket with him, nothing. But he's going to go out in the wilderness all by himself when he hates bugs, he hates dirt, he hates the dark, and he has no shoes on. Oh, and by the way, if that's not enough, he's also allergic to outdoor pollens. There is that. But he just wanted to go out and roll in the grass and go swimming in the ocean. Okay.
But that is something that goes through with autistic children, as everybody would know.
Right.
But for the record, I am a very strict parent. He does not have social media. Not.
He's a very strict parent. If you believe that he is just a strict parent, please put a 1 in our chat. If you think his parenting style goes well above and well beyond being a strict parent, please put a 2 in the chat. I do not want to sway your opinion of Christopher Proudfoot. Hey, Miss Colt, it's nice to see you. Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, exactly, little Shirley. That's where I'm going. Of course, Mike. Of course, Mike. Mike is our resident hope-filled defense attorney. I don't know why we don't hate Mike yet. We like Mike. Okay? I don't know why. We would normally have booted Mike to the curb and told him to kick rocks. The balance. I'm going to call Mike the balance instead of Big Back Mike. 2. Yeah, there's a lot of people. Yeah, I think he goes well beyond there. Yeah. Yep. Chris is no dad. Yes. That's where I'm getting with it. So, he's not a strict parent. Strict parents, we've seen strict parents. I think when you take an autistic child's stuff when they're autistic to teach them a lesson and put it in a garbage bag, like that's something you would teach a normal 15-year-old child a lesson with, right? But an autistic child, that is so traumatic for them. That's what makes it abuse. It's that he's trying to instill the trauma, not the lesson. There's a difference.
In our household, he doesn't online game. I'm pretty strict when it comes to that kind of situation.
Well, that's good. That's good, Chris, that you have control of that, because social media can be very dangerous for young kids.
Be dangerous for adults
because they
too.
don't realize who they may be talking to on social media.
Okay, we're going to get past.
Did you have any idea what would make Sebastian want to suddenly leave the house? And you told me, well, that's the $1 million question that everybody wants to know. All the detectives, they've all asked that same question.
Woo! Woo! That's more of rough interrogation right there. Ooh, they're challenging. That's why they came to the media, or came to social media. They were being challenged by law enforcement on their story. This is day 4 or 5. Let's listen to that. That's challenging. That's law enforcement challenging them on their story. Let's listen to that again.
Right.
And seeing how kids can be easily manipulated.
Let's listen to
15 in age in his body. But that is something that goes through with autistic children. For the record, in our household, I'm pretty strict.
That's good, Chris, that you have control of that, because social media can be very dangerous. They may be talking to. Make sure you're monitoring, what your kids are doing. So I had asked you both.
Here it is.
Did you have any idea what would make Sebastian want to suddenly leave the house? And you told me, well, that's the $1 million question that everybody wants to know. All the detectives, they've all asked that same question.
All the detectives, they all asked that same question. Why would he all of a sudden, out of nowhere, just walk out of the house? This is day 4. This was day 4. This was day 4. Everything changed within three days. Everything flipped on its head in a 180-degree turn. They're being challenged on their story and challenged on their question by law enforcement. Law enforcement's got their eyes square on these two people. There's no doubt in my mind, if this was happening, if these are the types of questions that they were challenging him on right here at the day 4. Yeah. Autistic kids don't have the same understanding. Exactly, me too. Wait, he had no access to the internet to play online games? It seems a little odd what they're saying, because it seems like he did have some access to online activity, but it was so limited in nature. There was no predatorial nature, I think, is basically what it is. My stepdad never disciplined me. My stepdad never disciplined me. He yelled at me, you know. I disciplined him more than he disciplined me. When I was 15, he just rolled his eyes, looked at my mom, like, you deal with this crazy chick. I'm going to bed. I'm going to the bedroom. I love Jack now, right? Back in my 15s, I'm sure he was ready to tear my head off. He didn't leave on his own. We all know it. Any kid can turn a router over and get a pass. Yeah, Joyce, but I don't think he would have known to do that. I don't think he would have known to do that. Sebastian may use a schoolmate friend's phone to access the internet. Yeah, but I don't think he's like that. I think he's childlike. I think when you tell him to do something, with exceptions of like cleaning the room, but I think he's one of those people that you've got to give him instruction. You know what I'm saying? Like, he needs instruction in order to do something. I could be wrong because I really don't know him personally. I'm just getting bits and pieces from mom, dad, and stepdad about his demeanor, about how slow he is, about his learning disabilities, about his, his body disabilities. There's just a lot. There's a lot with this poor kid. He had a lot going on with his poor little body, period. And he was just trying to live, right? Really, just trying to live in our society with a broken body. It's sad. It's just sad. I think Seth let him get on the internet. He might feel. I mean, poor Seth, he's getting beat up every which way but freaking Sunday right now, just for being a dad, just for fighting, just for not backing down. Like, God bless him. He's got the support of this channel, I can tell you that, hands down.
What is it that happened that caused him to leave the house? And I know you must be so worried and so concerned. Is there anything, if Sebastian were listening to this live stream right now, if you knew that he was out there, what would you want to tell him?
It is interesting.
That we love you and to come home.
I mean, it's pretty simple. This boy has a very large family that everybody is asking the question.
Everybody's asking the question, but nobody's going out there and helping. Their entire family sat their entire search out. And that's the blurb you get. Why can't we get that why can't we get that Katie on camera? Why does that Katie only come out at this time in the story, and every time she's on screen, on the TV screen, she's just when she's got no camera, oh my God! But now it's been 3 months and he's still not home, and she's like, well, he thinks it's a little funny having, the fizzle on his tongue, but he does like those cake pops, he's starting to smell too, our son stink. He's the stinky kid in school, you know how that goes, right?
Where are you? We love you, and please come home.
Yes. We definitely need to find him as soon as possible. If you live in this area, please search your property every day. He could be on the move. Just because you've already searched your property one time doesn't mean that you don't need to continue to search your property on a daily basis, just to be sure. If you have a lot of land, it needs to be searched, just to be sure, because that and rescue
they, as of
that.
So currently, as of today, the National Guard was also brought in to help with the search, but they have had fixed-wing aircraft, helicopters, horseback ATVs, side-by-side, door-to-door, scouring every neighborhood possible. The outreach from the community and various counties has been extremely welcoming, loved.
So he's saying this while talking about an intense interrogation tactic of challenging him on how their son could have even walked out of the house within 4 days. Just put in perspective.
We've been told this is probably one of the largest searches that they've conducted with so much input that it's a case to be studied for sure.
A case to be
We
studied.
have a lot of people that are praying.
Man,
and
he's just so happy with his ability. Look at everything he's done. He's been able to really keep these cops on the go. You know, in now in his newest stuff, he's almost like he's taunting law enforcement. Like, ha ha ha. You know? The best part about it, he left no evidence, officers. You're gonna have a tough time getting this one, aren't you?
supporting you right now. Was his ask, would he be able to ride a city bus?
Nothing is off the table as far as abilities. Could the young man get on a bus? I'm sure he could.
We've never done it before.
We've never rode a city bus, so
They're talking about a kid that has autism that can't be around people, that freak out around strangers, literally getting on a bus with a whole bunch of people they don't know, strangers and all, and having to talk to somebody about getting a bus ticket, paying for a bus ticket when he has no money, no food, no nothing. I would probably say that that is off the table with all the factual information that we know of. I mean, here in Manatee County, we got free bus services here. Like it was with our new board when we got here, because we were paying something like $19 million for our transit service. We were getting like $2 million or $3 million in fees. You know, it obviously wasn't even scratching the surface, you know, of covering the cost. So at this point, it's like, why even charge? You know, we need the service. The service is utilized in our county, so we have free transit service here because it just makes the most sense for us to have free transit for everybody than to charge, because we weren't making anything off of it anyways. The taxpayers are basically footing the bill for it as is. So, you know, just saying.
I don't think he understands the process. He doesn't have any sense of money. He may have, like, let's say a $20 bill in his hand, but he doesn't truly understand.
But Chris said that he didn't leave with anything. So why is he talking about money as if he has money on him when they clearly know he has no money on him?
What $20 would get him?
He's good
Right.
at this, but he doesn't
I understand.
time and money.
And Single Mom says, does he want his real father maybe? I'm just asking. Well, it turns out, Single Mom, that, you know, he sees his real father every other weekend. And the real father, he is heavily involved in this situation and is aware. And he doesn't know where Sebastian is either, correct?
Correct. I mean, I can tell you this.
His father's very much involved in his life.
Yes, very much involved in his life. The relationship between all three of us as parents is not your common one. I mean, me and the father talk on a regular basis. We call each other, we talk. Hey, if we heard anything, how's he doing? Is he acting up?
So they have a regular conversation. They have open communications with all parties involved. Seth is talking to Chris. Chris is talking to Seth. They're pleased with their family arrangement. They don't have any problems. A son disappears, and Katie and Chris stop all communications with the father to boot. Nothing to see over here at all. Kid just ran away. Don't worry about it, guys. He'll pop up anytime now. He just ran off. Of course he did.
You know, I mean, it's not, there's no really animosity in between the parents.
That's good. That's good. Discovering the truth. Thank you for being here. They say, did he have any special interest, like trains, parks, friends, maybe a school bus route that he loved?
Emma.
My
Nice to
son
see you.
elopes and loves trains, so he heads to the tracks.
He loves playgrounds.
Yeah, he loves playgrounds. I mean, he loves to play. I'll give him that. Friends-wise,
He wants friends.
Sebastian, his idea of his friend is right now is what he has 2 kids that he talks to at school, but he is extremely socially awkward, and so it's very difficult for him to make friends.
Socially awkward to boot. So we got a socially awkward kid that doesn't like the dark, that doesn't like being outside, that hates being dirty, doesn't like going outside without shoes, hates bugs, has allergy to outside pollen, and is socially awkward to boot. In addition, with autism, a learning disability, and a host of other medical issues. But this kid, with all of these disabilities, managed to leave without a trace. And the best part about it is he didn't leave a stitch of evidence behind, according to his stepfather, in his own words.
Which has been this boy's only lifelong dream. Christmas, what do you want for Christmas? I want friends. Birthday, I want friends. Anything that he could do to get a friend, he would love to do it, which is potentially dangerous because that could open up doors if for somebody to say, hey, I'll be your friend, and potentially cause harm.
So what are you implying, Chris? Are you implying he walked out the door or he was abducted? Because now they're confusing me, because they keep telling us that he walked out the door, but he keeps trying to imply maybe something else happened, but nothing nefarious to see over here.
Kim Holmes asked if there's any cameras in the area, and I did see, Kim, that they were asking for people that had any Ring doorbell footage or any businesses that had camera footage. Talk to us about that, Chris. We did speak about that briefly earlier, about the people getting all the footage, but they haven't found anything.
Our entire neighborhood and surrounding neighborhoods have voluntarily and with generosity given up any video footage that they've got. I mean, they have let the apartments come in and view and monitor. So as far as cameras, everybody has turned over everything. There's thousands of hours of stuff that they are combing through.
Okay, so now the whole thing of whether they have lots and lots of camera footage, they have thousands and thousands of hours of camera footage that they have to go through. So I doubt that those thousands and thousands of hours have been gone through in 3 months. It takes a long time to go. You guys know. You guys do it on these true crime cases. How long does it take you to go through a 15-minute clip? 2 hours?
To try to find an answer.
It looks like Tish is local to the area. She said, I go to the grocery store or anywhere, and our eyes are peeled looking for him. I work at a local restaurant, and I'm checking cars as they come through the drive-thru every day. Bless you, Tish. I know this family is the route to his father's house, so maybe...
Yeah, that has not been ruled out. Like I said, the search that they are conducting is extremely widespread and thorough.
Mm-hmm.
So nobody is really...
And we just call his dad.
Yeah, it's dad will come down here. We meet him halfway.
Here, let's go back.
Call his dad.
Yeah, it's dad will come down here. We meet him halfway. There's this. He's never wanted to go to his dad's and not been able to go. Let's put it that way.
Right. Barkey, thank you for being a member for 6 months. All of this is very, very helpful to help us, better understand.
And just to let you know, Emma, I got the main channel's fine. The main channel. The only reason why I'm here on this channel is because we weren't really. I was just going to be. This kind of turned into a Sebastian Rogers live, and it was just going to be me chilling and having just a little bit of discussion with it. But I ran across this interview, and it's one of the first interviews, so it ended up being more of an involved discussion than we had anticipated. And now it's an hour later, and I was just trying to take a break from real life stuff to chat with everybody, and now we're into a conversation. It's like I don't want to stop, because every time I go get to a stopping point to tell you guys I'm about to get back to my real life stuff, something else interesting pops up here. But this is on our crime story side. We still have Bullhorn Betty, which is at YouTube /C/Bullhorn Betty. So we still have that, and we also have 2 channels now on TikTok as well. So we have Bullhorn Betty as well as Bullhorn Betty 2.0. if you guys would like to go over there. But you never know what you're going to get. I'm telling you, all the channels are active. So if you love me and you don't want to miss a thing, you're going to want to sub up to all of it, because you never know where I'm going to go live. You never know where I'm going to be doing content. You never know where I'm going to be slinging myself one day and not the next. So let's get back.
The situation that we're dealing with. And I did see a post on Facebook that it looked like everybody was asked to wear green on Friday because green is Sebastian's favorite color. What else can you tell us about Sebastian?
This will be interesting.
He's an avid Minecraft fan. Loves the color green. It's got the goofiest and quirky smile in the world. I don't think anybody could mimic it, to be honest with you.
What about, he loved animals. He loved, going fishing. He had a wonderful personality that just kind of brightened everybody's day. He had this smile that would lighten up the world. Stuff endearing that parents say when they've missed their child forever. Like, he's choking to figure out words to say to put in here.
He looks like he's such a sweet young man.
Loves to dance. That boy he'll dance his tail off.
There's nothing wrong with that. Dancing is good for you. It's good exercise too.
He's good.
I just really hope they can find some answers. Now, I did ask you guys because, I know that sometimes when we're looking for autistic children that go missing, a lot of times people are concerned that they may be attracted to go towards the water. So talk to us about that. Is he a good swimmer? Does he like to get in the water? I think you did mention some things about that to me earlier.
So he's a fish in the water. I'm gonna tell you right now that but here's the distinction. He is not a child that likes to get dirty. He can't stand his hands dirty. He can't stand bugs. He is fearful of flies and things. So if he swims,
fearful of flies and things. Who the flip is going out in the middle of the freaking night? This is Chris and Katie's own words. Chris and Katie's own words. And they say it with such passion and victor. When we ask anything about outside, he does not like outside. Let alone going outside without anything on his feet. Wasn't that what they were basically saying, is just move on? That they're ready to move on? Isn't that the gist of the conversation last night? The baggage? She'll never get rid of the baggage? Did I hear that from someone? Somebody was sending me something. I couldn't even listen to it. Yeah, see, I got a lot of people in my chat here that have, autistic children. At the end of the day, this stuff doesn't seem normal and customary to autistic children. I know nothing about autism, but I can tell you that the moms and the dads here and the grandparents have been filling me in. And everything that they've been filling me in on is completely opposite to what the Proudfoots are trying to get us to believe with their son walking out the front door. And you keep hearing his Victor. He doesn't, he'll get in the water, but he doesn't like bugs. He doesn't like dirt. He doesn't like anything dirty on his feet or in his hands. Then how did he leave the house without shoes? They can't answer that. Parents of autistic children are overly protected. They don't seem very overly protective. They seem like they're just faking it to make it.
Pool kid. He's not I'm a river and a stream kind of kid. He is.
Oh, so he's not like a real outdoorsy kid. Like one that would get up in the middle of the night and decide to hightail it out of there. Got it. He'll go to a pool, but not to a pond. Got it.
Swimming pool bound.
Discovering the truth. I'm sure that they are probably looking into that. Now, I know that you said there was some misinformation that was going around and you wanted to make a clarification.
So 4 days in, they're more concerned about misinformation. They're already starting to come into the misinformation. So they've been challenged by law enforcement. They're feeling the heat from law enforcement. Now they're going to social media to plead their case without having the cameras on them to see if they can get their voices. And, oh, my son. But she can't do it with a live camera feed, which is weird. Because my understanding is it's uncontrollable. You can't control your emotions when you lose a child. I mean, that's what I've learned. I mean, I could be way off, but that's what I've learned.
You did tell me that TBI, was assisting, but that there was some confusion. People thought that FBI was actually assisting in this case. Talk to me about what you spoke about earlier to me on our phone call about how FBI is, that they were consulted, and the card team, I guess there is a discussion going on as to whether he qualifies, as, for the child abduction response team.
So they're talking about whether, so again, coming back to whether he qualifies for the abduction team. We've heard abduction come up and people throwing accusations and being nasty to people, whether law enforcement was entertaining it or whether they stated it. Yes, he's got an Amber Alert. Enough said. My son is high on the spectrum, has a very high IQ, but concerning common sense, he has none. My baby boy has autism and he needs his routines. Yep, that's what I'm hearing. Routines are really beneficial. I believe KP and CP have done an excellent job at revealing who they truly are. I absolutely agree. Dana, Katie is drawing a big disability check on him, in my opinion. I don't think so. I don't think we went through the whole disability check and everything like that, and it doesn't appear he qualifies because of their income. Mike, you're so right. I don't even like it when someone looks at my child in a bad way. Mike, let me know. Okay. Who hates law enforcement more, Betty or Seth? I love law enforcement. I hate horrible decisions. I hate, I dislike, it's not the worker bees, and I have to say this all the time. I never condemn worker bees because they're always at the direction of somebody else. Whenever I come down on law enforcement, it's top brass. It's the people that are making the command decisions, that are leading the charge. Those are the people that I hold accountable. Their command under them, I don't hold them accountable because I understand chain of command, and those officers have no choice. They have to follow the commands of their commanding officers. And so I like to go to the people that are making the decisions and hold their feet to the fire. I love law enforcement. I think law enforcement, personally, I think they need to be funded a lot more. They are who we call when we are in danger. And I'm sorry, if I pick up the phone and call 911, I want the cavalry coming in with the frickin' machines, okay? You know what, if I need a boat, if my officers need boats, they got boats. They need helicopters, they get helicopters. They need more patrol cars, they get patrol. What do you need? I don't argue with our sheriff here. And even if I have disagreements with him, believe me, I do have disagreements with my sheriff here in this county. Without a doubt. Having a disagreement with him right now. But if he needed a frickin' boat to do his job, guess what? I'm going to be in a county meeting making sure that my sheriff gets a boat. So there is that, I just think we need to fund the crap out of them. I think one of the problems we have in Tennessee is the lack of funding. They're broke. They don't have enough law enforcement. They don't have enough resources in law enforcement. And I'm sorry. That's the way it is. We hear it all the time. We only have so many resources for this. That means what they mean when they say we only have so many resources for this, they're saying we only have XYZ dollars to pay for this. Counties and cities, people don't understand. Money doesn't grow on trees for them either. So whenever something like this happens and it drains the funds down, they got to pull funds from other areas. That means that those areas that were funded are now getting funding cuts. That means somebody may lose their job for them to pay for this investigation. It shouldn't be like that. ADS kids don't like any changes. I just don't believe he walked out the door, because for us to inference that he walked out the door would mean that he would have to change everything. Everything. He would have to kick his habit of needing to put his shoes on. He'd have to kick his habit of sensory issues, which is uncontrolled. He can't control that. He'd have to kick all these issues in order to make him walking out the door plausible. And he's an autistic child with a bunch of disabilities and medical conditions. He doesn't have the ability to do that. Yet that's what we're being led to believe by the Proudfoots.
So the FBI is not physically on the ground. Somewhere in one of the news clips, I think it was reported that the FBI had made it on the ground. They're not. TBI, Tennessee Bureau of Investigations, has reached out to the behavioral analysis team, or their CART team, and they are trying to work with them from a distance. They're not physically present, to help in any way, form, shape that they can.
So for people that think that the FBI is leading this investigation, that clears it up for you. Like I said before, they are a resource. That means they are giving them some type of resource. That means it's either digital help, forensic help, being able to process forensic stuff through their labs quicker and with more precision. So there are benefits to having the FBI as a resource, but they're not doing they're doing investigative work, but not to the tune of running an investigation. So that clears it up. It's FBI not even on grounds, not even boots on the ground. Okay?
Render their assistance.
Okay. Light and sound, thank you for being here. Have burner phones been looked into? I know some teens sneak phones from their parents, or maybe his computer use at school to see if he has been chatting.
Evidence of a secret phone?
Okay, good.
There's no evidence. Good. No evidence of
because
a secret
digital
phone.
Evidence is really important. They want to make sure that he's not speaking to anybody. This is such an unusual case.
So I'm going to stop it right there because we're over our 1 hour mark. And like I said, I was just going to come here and chit chat and let you guys see some of my real life stuff. I got to get back to work, but we're going to pick this up later this afternoon on this channel when I need to take another break. We'll continue to go. This is a 2-hour video and we've made it through about 40 minutes of it. So we still have a significant amount to go over, but again, this is related to a comment from Steve Johnson last night on the interview room when he was with Chris McDonough, talking about trying to go back to the most uncontaminated interview. And so through review, it appears that this March 3rd interview might actually be the first interview that they've given. So that is really why we're paying attention to this. I don't usually play people's stuff. I'm not playing it on here, because it's their work. But because of the situation, this is a critical interview. And it's a critical interview for our case. So, I'm I've just decided to review it and play it. And so that's what we're doing right now. We're going to review it and play it. And commentate on it, and we're going to criticize Chris and Katie because, as you guys can clearly see, their story has changed wildly from this original interview on Dutch's channel. Wildly. It's not even the same story. Like I was like, she said that she when she was on Dutch's, apparently she fell asleep for an hour. But any other channel since this, apparently the sleeping didn't work. So she's changed it to now he went to bed at 9, she heard a thud at 10, and everything's the history from there. In this very first interview, she fell asleep from 9 to 10. She was sleeping. And she definitely didn't say anything about a thud. All she simply said is, I woke up from my sleep and shortly after there went to bed. And then she corrected that when Duchess said something and said I went to bed at midnight, and was very specific at midnight. So also we learned from this Duchess interview that they had been questioned pretty roughly with law enforcement challenging their questions. And so I find that a little bizarre that they're challenging their questions at around day 4 and 5 And we heard that the case had a major turn about day 3. And when they had the major turn about day 3 and start focusing on Chris and Katie, that's giving me a behavioral sign from law enforcement. And it's giving me a red flag for the Proudfoots. But again, Betty, you showed the layout of the house. I don't believe she could hear anything. I don't believe it either, but you know what? Somebody said that I had the wrong layout of the house. So I want to verify that the layout I have, just as a due diligence, I haven't really showed it much. It was only for perspective anyways, 3,400 square foot from one side to the other. It's going to measure about the same, but it sounds like the kitchen might be in a different area than it was. And I'd like to see that, if that's true. So we will find out. We will find out about the floor plan, but in 3,400 square feet with all of those noise barriers, it'd be difficult. It would be difficult for me to believe she heard something with studying and being on the phone from his room down by the front door. It's hard for me to believe she heard anything coming from that, being on the phone with her husband and studying. It seems like her mind would have been anywhere else but any noises in the house. She's got dogs loose running around the house. She's on the phone with her husband. She's reading a book. How would she even know if something had made noise? I don't see where, she wouldn't even have, I don't even think she would have been so distracted. Even if she did hear it, she wouldn't even have probably batted an eye at it. Didn't the cameraman that went into Chronicles of Olivia look at the house? Yeah, they looked at the house. I talked to Chronicles of Olivia after that, and she said that they seemed really nice, and she was very, very happy that they let her in. A lot of people were worried because Chris's hip hop comment that he might, or him or his wife might be racist. So I asked her about that. Did she get any weird vibes from him being in the house? And she said no. Both Katie and Chris were very nice to her. And of course, Mom's a clean freak. So seeing another clean freak, I'm sure Mom was in heaven. She's apparently Katie's house is immaculate. I think the only thing they said was that the house was immaculate. And I said, really? I asked her if she had a chance to go into Sebastian's room, and I don't think she did, because I wanted to see if they had cleaned the room up. And even if they did, I don't know if she would have told me. She would have put it in the video before she told me. So we'll see. We'll see about that. But that's where we're at, guys. We'll pick this up. We're right at 40 minutes and 22 seconds in on this Duchess interview that she did on March 3rd with Katie and Christopher Proudfoot. They did not show their face on here, but their story, absolutely, without a doubt, hands down, much different than any of the stories that we've heard online to date. So I recommend everybody going back. If you guys don't have time to go back, you're as busy as me, don't worry, just come back here and we'll continue to go down this. We're going to continue to listen through this all the way through, because I think this is very, very important. Steve Johnson told us that we need to go back to the newest interview, because the newest interview is the most virgin interview. It's the most uncorrupt interview. So this is where we're at. All right, guys, we'll talk soon. God bless you. And I hope you guys enjoyed this little live. Again, it wasn't really meant to be all this. We were just going to come and hang out. But hey, this is what we wanted to talk about. So this is what we talked about. God bless.